What's going on, WInDaily fam? This is Tenacious D Jones, David Jones over here in Atlanta, Georgia, hanging out with my guy Nick today with a beautiful background. He's got me beat. Say what's up, Nick.
How we doing, guys? Yeah, it's we had snow all week, so some of the leaves are still hanging on, but it's about to be winter here in Chicago, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, summer is definitely better in Chicago. It's getting cold in Atlanta down here too. But hey, it's almost, we're after Halloween. It's that time of year. We all got an extra hour of sleep last night. I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident about this slate. We'll get our thoughts on all the games. If you have any questions, you can just drop them into our YouTube chat. We'll answer them after we get done with the game, and we won't overlook anyone. We'll take care of y'all. So yeah, first off, I guess we'll just jump in. I have FanDuel open. I primarily play on FanDuel. I'm going to be playing mostly on FanDuel today. I might throw some in the DraftKings Millie Maker, but I really want to. I want to stay focused on one site today. So what about you, Nick? Where are you playing today?
I'm a DraftKings guy at heart, and that's where I think like 80% of my money's going today. So it'll be a perfect little mend here. You're the FanDuel guy. I'll be the DraftKings guy. It works out perfect.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I took a sip of my coffee. I'm wishing I chose another cup today. I've got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cup.
No, that's cool.
I wasn't thinking that I was going to be on live, but
It's throwback.
anyways, all right, cool. So first game I got here is the Jets going down to Miami to play the Dolphins. Dolphins are bad. Jets aren't good, technically bad, but they've really had a pretty tough schedule. They've already had to play the Patriots twice, which is, I mean, that alone is going to be tough. They had Dallas sprinkled in there, Buffalo, who I like a lot this season, and Jacksonville. Sometimes Gardner Minshew gets it going. But looking down here, starting at quarterback with Sam Darnold and Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't have a lot of interest in either one of them. If I were to have to play a quarterback, it'd probably be Ryan Fitzpatrick because I would think they'd be trailing. But again, I don't think I'm going to have him on my teams. The Dolphins, they truly do want to lose. And I'm not high on them personally. Same thing kind of with these Dolphins running backs. Like you've got Mark Walton.
Yeah, I'm
Kalen
a hard
Balazs
pass
sitting
on
back
him.
there behind. Yeah. What you like either of these guys?
No, absolutely not. Mark Walton, I think he's getting like 15% ownership on DraftKings, but yeah, I'm a hard pass there.
Yeah, I am too. So like the point I made on SiriusXM last night and that I did on our podcast is the Dolphins don't know how to utilize these players. Like they had Kenyon Drake on the team. He goes to Arizona for 48 hours, goes completely bonkers, hits the MVP slot in these showdown slates. And he's been on Miami for like 3 or 4 years. And I don't think that they know how to utilize these running backs. The only time one of these guys goes off is like last year. Kalen Balazs had like a huge game, but it was a long run. And Drake had a big game last year. I think it was last year when he beat the Patriots in overtime. That might have been two years ago.
Play. That was last year.
Yeah. I loved it. I'm a Drake fan. I went to school with Kenyon Drake. He came in right when I was leaving University of Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, man. We got a lot of Chicago's kind of a little mini. Y'all got that Alabama bar up there. I've been there. Yeah. So not really on these guys either. What about Lev Bell? He's like fifth or sixth running back for me this week. I'm not on him a lot. A lot of people are. Nick, what's your feeling on Lev Bell?
Yeah. So. I mean, he's going to be popular. I like what we said on the prior to going live here is how are people going to build these running backs? There's going to be a lot of CMC, a lot of Cook. And then if you get off one, I think that's where people are going to show a lot of love to Le'Veon Bell. I mean, he's got really good props. I think he's second or third on the board behind McCaffrey and Cook and all-purpose yards props. It's like right around 105. He's got a 4-catch prop, which is last week is 3.5, and that was kind of a little alarming, but 4, not much of a bump there. I don't see the Jets needing to dump down to him because Miami's probably not going to score a lot, right? But Lev's got a minus 165 touchdown prop, so the equity's there for the touchdowns if you do like that. If you want to get off CMC or Cook, he wouldn't be my first choice, but he's definitely out there. I think I got him right where you do, kind of like 6 or 7 on my board in the running back spot. It's just hard to trust him. He hasn't done anything in the last 2 weeks. I don't know, but Miami's a spot to get right. So I will have some Le'Veon Bell, but I don't think he's going to be on any of my main lineups. If he's like 5% owned for sure, but he seems to be pretty popular. I think DraftKings, it's like 15 to 16% that I'm seeing right now. So
yeah. Yeah, I would like him more on DraftKings just because
The
PPR
catches for
structure,
sure.
1 point PPR. Yeah. I don't think I'll have him on FanDuel. He has not looked impressive. He came out of that Pittsburgh system, which is, a lot of the reason we like Jalen Samuels today. They don't have a good quarterback or one you can count on. I mean, he's not good yet. He might be good one day, but come on, he's not that good. And then, I mean, if he is going to have a get right spot, it's going to be today versus the Dolphins. And I don't want everyone to think we're knocking Lev Bell. Like I think it's a fine play, but I'm rolling out like one main team today and really focusing. I don't think he's going to be on my main team, but definitely in season long, roll him out, no doubt about it. And throw him in your flex in your DraftKings or your FanDuel lineups. But that's about all I got for old Lev. How you breaking down these wide receivers? Both teams.
So I'm going to circle back to the start, though. In the beginning of the week, I was all about building with both McCaffrey and Cook, and obviously we need to pay down at spots to achieve that. So I started looking at what quarterbacks. I know we got a lot of other games to touch on here, but what quarterbacks are going to throw it 35 plus times and are going to be on the DraftKings slate, around 5,000. And Fitzpatrick checks those boxes for me. I obviously don't want to trust in him. But Tremaine Johnson's out. He's not very good anyway, but he's one of the Jets cornerbacks that I do respect a little bit. He's out. And both of these Miami wide receivers are very talented. I've always been a believer in Devontae Parker. It's never really panned out consistently, though, but he's getting targets from Fitzpatrick. And Preston Williams, I think, is a beast as well. He's kind of, got to improve as a run blocker as well. He kind of it seems like he doesn't give much effort there, but that doesn't matter in DraftKings.
Yeah.
It's all about Fitzpatrick chucking it up, and I don't like Gesicki really at all. He'd maybe in like a millie maker, but I think on the Miami side, you can definitely stack Fitzpatrick with both of those guys, Williams and Parker, because where the production is going to go. It's going to go to those two guys. I don't have any love for Albert Wilson. I think he scored on Monday night, and I told him he'd be off my showdown slate rosters. But, yeah, I'm out on him. It's just I want guys that can score in tournaments, of course. In cash, I'm not going to play maybe any of them. I guess Parker is on my cash board, but I'm not going to play either of those guys, Williams or Parker in cash. But both of those guys could score twice, and I could see Fitzpatrick throwing for 3 or 4 touchdowns, but also 3 or 4 picks. So it's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. I don't know what Fitzpatrick's going to show up, but for Miami, those are the only two in play. And then on the Jets side, I do love Robbie Anderson. Xavier Howard for Miami, who's their best cover corner, is on the IR. So Robbie Anderson needs a big day. Like, that's what he does. He goes deep. He scores twice. So I do like this game a little bit from a salary saving stack perspective, if you want to call it that. But only the pass catchers. Like I said, I don't love Le'Veon Bell, but if you're going to get off one of those top dog running backs, he's definitely in play there. But I don't think
so
the game for who's the little guy there, Crowder?
Yeah. No, is it Crowder?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, he plays the slot there. So
Crowder.
I'm not into him as much. He seems to be like a catch-up type of guy. When they're down 20, he just gets the ball from Darnold all the time. I think this game should be close. So I do love Robbie Anderson and Williams and Parker there, long story long.
Yeah, I always think Jameson Crowder Redskins. I can't get that out of my mind yet. But so Robbie Anderson was one of the cheap wide receivers I wrote up this week. He's definitely boomer bust. I would not play him in cash, but I'd play him in GPPs. It just kind of feels like a Robbie Anderson week to me. He does it a couple times a year, going against a terrible defense, obviously in Miami. This guy, he grew up in South Florida. He's returning to Miami.
It's
kind of like a friend. Yeah, home and home. So he's kind of like a friends and family game. There'll be people he knows, but he's a professional. I don't know how much, that I take that into account. But, someone's going to have to score here. Both defenses are bad. He's the number 1 wide receiver on the Jets. He was just on the trade block. Maybe he comes in with a little more motivation if you believe in that kind of thing. It weighs a little bit to me, but it's not the, end all be all. So Robbie Anderson, 6,200 on FanDuel. I like him there better because I think if he pays off, it's going to be with one of these long touchdowns, not so much that he got 8 receptions. So I would take him on FanDuel over DraftKings. And then I've also got Devontae Parker here. Before last week, he'd been on a touchdown run. He caught 3 touchdowns in each game, the 3 games previous to this last showdown slate game at Pittsburgh. He's only 5,800. I mean, he's been, meeting or exceeding value pretty much every game he's played in, except the one versus New England this year where he put up a goose egg. But the last the last 4 weeks, he's got 9 points, 14, 10, 15. He's a guy that I don't think is going to kill you versus a bad Jet secondary. And as far as the tight ends go, I had a question this morning about Ryan Griffin. He caught 2 touchdowns last week. He caught a touchdown 2 weeks before that against Dallas. I think it's point chasing a little bit, but also Sam Darnold seems like the kind of guy that when something works, he's going to go back to it. So I expect him to get the targets. I'd expect him to get a look in the red zone. He's just got to come down with it. And as far as like defenses go, I think you can play the Jets here. They haven't gone negative once all season. They've played the Patriots twice. They're a good. They're I think better, maybe average bunch, but they just had hard competition. And going against the Dolphins, things can go your way. They're a little higher priced than I'd like. I want to get the Bills, but the Jets are on my top 5 defenses. What do you think about the Ds?
I don't like either of them. For me, I hear you. Redskins or Carolina, or I'm going to pay up for Buffalo is what it looks like for me in all my builds. I mean, there's obviously other teams in play. I like the Browns as well, but in this game, it could just be so sloppy. I really don't want to invest any more in it than a pass catcher or 2, and then maybe Fitzpatrick, I guess, and some GPPs.
Yeah.
But I do not want that many pieces in this game unless it fits. Like if the defense I would play the Jets over Miami for sure, but I don't know. I don't want that much game at all.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. It's an ugly game. Am I off center here? I'm trying to get centered in the camera, but I think it's going wrong.
It'll work. Anything else to add on that one, or you want to hit some questions here before we go on?
Yeah, what kind of questions we got?
All right, Aaron says Ty Johnson or Samuels for DK. Obviously Samuels, right? Easily. Jalen.
I don't think it's that easy. I like Ty Williams a lot. I mean, he's the number one go-to. Ty Johnson. Oh, yeah. Samuels.
Soldier Field is just around the corner that way.
How much does it cost to get in there today?
Or Soldier Field. They're in Philly. I don't know. I don't go to Bears games. Hopefully it's getting cheap. They should give tickets away now. Next question from Scott or Aaron again. Do we like Bell over Chubb? I'm a team Chubb there. We'll get into that game a little bit later. Anything for you there, Dave, or you want to talk about it in a bit?
That one's pretty close. I mean, Chubb is an elite back. I love Nick Chubb. If you're just going by like safer, I would probably stick with Chubb. I mean, I'm looking – he got 20 rushing attempts last week, 20 before that, 20 versus Baltimore, 23 versus the Rams.
He just destroyed the Patriots, who everybody loves. That defense has been amazing, and they're the best defense in fantasy right now and in the NFL, and he still did his with them. So I'm Chubb.
Chubb hasn't
done it lately. Yeah. All right.
If you heard the show last night. Go ahead. Sorry. We're talking over each other. Go ahead.
You're good. Have Henry and Chubb. I'm assuming Derrick Henry there in season long and could use another receiver. I was offered Hopkins and Michelle for Jeffries and Aaron Jones. Hopkins, I hate Michelle. I want nothing to do with the Patriots running back, but Hopkins is obviously a stud. I'm assuming Jeffries is Alshon Jeffrey and Aaron Jones.
I'll take Jeffries Jones or Jeffrey. He's got me saying it.
Everybody says no. That's a tough one, Scott. I usually like to have the best player in the deal, and that's definitely Hopkins here. But Aaron Jones has been a stud. The Packers' offense is going to score all season long. I'll let David take that one if he wants Jeffrey and Jones. I think that's where you go. That one's tough for me.
Jeffrey. I mean, Hopkins.
Go ahead.
Hopkins is great and all. But he's not putting it together like the top wide receiver drafted this year. Jeffries is the number one threat on Philly when he's active. And I think he's still just a little underrated for what he does. He has a little bit of injury concern, but everybody does. I'll take Jeffrey and Jones over Michelle anyway. So that's the way I go.
It's Michelle that downgrades it for me. You never know with Patriots running backs. Pickett's asking still on Antonio Callaway for the Browns in a large field GPP. For sure. That game looks like it's going to go under 2, but if Chris Harris is going to be on Beckham, all day, and I really think that opens up things for Jarvis Landry. But Jarvis really isn't a big play guy; he's a volume guy. So if you're looking for 50-yard bomb, I think that's going to be Callaway today. Yeah, not nearly as confident as I was with Darius Slayton last week, but at that under 4K, there's really not a lot of receivers that are in play, and I think Callaway's one of them. And a couple other guys we'll mention here as we go to the next game. Samuel high owned today, absolutely ridiculously high owned, and it's kind of we'll get into that game as well, whether or not you could fade him. I think both David and I think you cannot. I tried everything I could to save him, but yeah, he's going to be 60 to 8% owned for sure.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have any?
Yeah, don't fade him.
Adams. Devontae Adams is tough for me. We'll get into that game too. So it looks like anything Jets related, Preston Williams is for sure in play. If Herndon plays, play him over Griffin. I would say play neither of them. And I don't think Herndon's going to play, right? He's ruled out, I want to say. Or he's questionable.
Let's see. I'll tell you. He's still questionable with a hamstring.
I'm not going to play the guy's
About
first game
50-50 shot.
Yeah,
I'm not either.
Yeah, I would. If you like Griffin, play him, but I think there's plenty of other value spots on the tight end area that you could exploit there. All right, what's the next game on your board?
The Chicago Bears versus the Eagles. So
all right,
I got on this.
We'll have fun with this one, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I was hyping Mitchell Trubisky a little bit is my punt guy, punt guy. He's 6,500, not my top quarterback. Just make that clear. But I do think he's in a good spot. He's going against Philly. They're really bad. Trubisky can put it together sometimes. I know it doesn't look pretty doing it, and I know he looked terrible last week. And I know they're burning his jerseys in the street in Chicago. But this is a guy, I think they're going to let him play out the season. I don't think they're going to bench him. They want him to be the quarterback, but you probably know more than I do because you're around the corner.
No, his job's safe. They're not going to chase Daniel.
Yeah, they're going to let him, get through the hard times and the good times on the field. If it was me and I was in a looking like crap all of a sudden and not playing well, I would be targeting my number one guy in Allen Robinson, just targeting the hell out of this guy. He hasn't had a game where he's had less than 7 targets, and it's just going to be the guy that Trubisky's throwing to. I think you can beat the Eagles' pass defense. I think it's a good bounce back spot. I think he could get 2 touchdowns again. If he can get around, 18, 20 points is about what I would expect from him. I'm going to be happy with it at that price. He's not going to be the highest scoring quarterback, but down here, when you're looking at the bottom and you're trying to pick a guy, I would go with Trubisky. Is that a hard pass for you, Nick?
No, not at all. I know I touted the Bears last week as one of my low-key stacks. I'm going to go back there again. Philly is a terrible pass defense, but extremely stout against the run. And Nagy's, obviously people hate him right now, and he's proven to be a terrible coordinator and a terrible coach, but he's still a professional coach, right? He's not dumb. I think he knows that, and he's a big message guy and everything like that. So I think he's, very aware that Philly's pass defense is extremely beatable. So I would assume like you said, just go to A-Rob. No one on their side of the ball can stop Allen Robinson. So I like him a lot. He's actually one of my sexy 6 for the day.
Sexy 6. Okay, yeah, I like him too.
I definitely think he's in play. It's that whole, for me on DraftKings, I'm only going to play these guys where I need to pay up for either both McCaffrey and Cook, or if I'm going to load up some stud receivers, I would go down to Trubisky and Fitzpatrick in the last game. But I think I like Trubisky a little bit more just because the weapons he has are I love Allen Robinson this week. So yeah.
I do too. Do we have any Thielen news yet?
He's playing, yeah. I don't know if he's going to
play.
Not, but yeah, he's playing.
Okay, so I bring that up because you said, Dalvin Cook, who I love this week too. I think it bumps him down a little in the pass game, of course, but I still love to run against Kansas City. I'm toying with the idea of going CMC, Samuels, and bumping down to maybe Derrick Henry. I can't make up my mind yet on Cook, but that's good to know that Thielen's playing. It might help my decision out a little bit there. But and then like on the Philly side, over in the same game, I do like Alshon Jeffrey, revenge game, whatever. He does seem like the kind of guy that would want to get some revenge against the Bears. And I think he's a great wide receiver, and I think he's a great price at 6,600. And I think you can beat. Is he really? Yeah, I'd play him. I'd play him for sure. But Djax is back, right?
Yep, he's playing.
Yeah, so maybe that opens it up a little bit more for the wide receivers. I don't think I'm going to be on Jackson in his first game back. That might be kind of silly because he's healthy. He's going to be on the field. I
Deshaun
think you
Jackson is
mentioned
more
Djax
expensive than
earlier.
Alshon Jeffrey.
That's crazy.
Drafting. What
Yeah,
the hell is going on there?
Yeah. You can mark Aguilar off your list. He's terrible.
Yeah, I would say on the Philly side, the only receiver I would consider is Jeffrey. And then I think with Deshaun Jackson back, that's going to open up things for Zach Ertz. And he's got a great price on DraftKings. And I think he's pretty affordable on FanDuel as well, isn't he?
He's 6,000 on FanDuel, which isn't too bad for Ertz. So that's all name value right now, but he's dropping down. He's got to bust out at some point. I mean, he's good. Zach Ertz is good. I don't know what's going on with him. Dallas Goedert's not the guy.
Right. So my take there, and I've heard this on the radio a lot too, is that Dallas Goedert was playing so much because Deshaun Jackson wasn't out there, and their receiving corps has been terrible outside of Alshon Jeffrey. So if Deshaun Jackson's back, I don't see them going to double tight end a lot, and that's what Goddard's been shining there. So
right,
it makes me like Ertz a lot more, and hopefully that theory checks out there. But that's where I'm at, is if Deshaun Jackson's out there with Aguilar and Jeffrey, then there's no room for Goddard to be on the field unless it's 3rd and 15 or whatever, and they're running a Hail Mary and Madden. But it's Jeffrey and Ertz for me. And then on the Bears side, I do think this is one of those things again where I always want to spot out some guys that are under 4K that are in play. I like Anthony Miller a lot on DraftKings for 3.7. If you need a punt play there, I think he's good for 5 catches and 60 yards. Whether or not he gets in the box is where he's going to really pay off for you. And then Taylor Gabriel, I'm more on Miller than Gabriel. They both have really, really good matchups. So again, Philly's secondary is brutal. But I'd rather go Allen Robinson. But if you need to punt with somebody, I think Miller would be my guy there. He's one of the few guys under 4K on DraftKings that I like this week. And then Gabriel will probably just be Millie Maker for me with like a Trubisky Robinson stack or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't like a lot, but it's like if with these expensive guys, if you want Godwin, if you want Cook, you want McCaffrey, whatever, you're going to need somebody like that, and Miller's going to be my guy. Unless you completely punt tight end, which as we go through these games, we could definitely get into, but Miller he's in my player pool for sure.
Man, I was spitting out so much Miller last night because that's what I'm trying to do is get a good quarterback. They pay up for Cook and CMC, put Samuel in the flex, and I kept landing on Anthony Miller. It was giving me like 25% Anthony Miller. I had him in my pool, but I felt like I was overexposing myself there because it's Anthony Miller. Like I don't know if I can get there. I'm gonna have him in some lines for sure. Because my projections have him there, but it is a scary play. But I wouldn't do it in cash, but like a Millie Maker, yeah, sure, why not? He can pop, and I like Trubisky, and I don't like the Philly defense. So I had a question about the Bears defense today. I'm not on it. I don't like playing defenses away from home, and that's really I scratch out usually half the player pool and just start focusing on the home teams. Do you like the Bears at all or Philly?
I think Philly's for sure in play. You've seen Trubisky, what he could do. He could definitely have a brutal game. So I do like Philly. Bears, I mean, they're cheap. Like usually you're thinking of the Bears on DraftKings are like 3.5K. Today they're 2.9. But yeah, like you said, on the road, I think Philly's going to run a ton. And the Bears have been brutal against the run lately. Absolutely terrible. I think they're on the season they rank like the 12th best matchup for running backs, and lately it's been way better than that. So I don't.
Yeah, that's true. I do have some interest in Jordan Howard. But there's just
he was in my cash right up.
Yeah, I
was assuming Sanders was out though, so I don't know. I do like him though, but not cash viable with Sanders in there.
No Jordan Howard revenge against the Bears. People have been asking me this. I think he's gonna get fed here. He's going to be ready for the game. He's just got to get in the end zone. But you do have, Sanders in there splitting carries with him, which isn't a good thing for a running back. So they'll give him like the red zone looks, I bet.
Yeah, he's a good price. It wouldn't shock me if he scored twice. If Philly can move the ball, Jordan Howard is going to get those goal line carries. That's not really something that Miles Sanders does. He's more of a home run type of player. I mean,
This is
Jordan Howard's
true.
going to be
Well,
like
do we have any?
2% owned on DraftKings.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be that highly owned either. Do we have any more YouTube questions? Looks like they're coming in.
We got a Go Pack Go from Joe Smith right on. I feel that. Marlon Mack in a pivot to TY going out. So that's Cooper's concepts. Cooper, I think, I mean, yeah, Marlon Mack always gets heavy usage, but to me, my answer to that question is I like the tight ends more. With TY being out, I looked at the box scores on most of the games that he's missed, and it's usually Ebron going off. But that was a lot last year with Ebron was Luck's guy. But the snaps are greatly in favor of Jack Doyle. But it seems like the red zone targets go to Ebron, so it's kind of like, which one do you want? I'll have a little bit of both, but that's my answer to that question. I don't know how much Marlon Mack I want, but people aren't playing Marlon Mack either.
Yeah, so, I think Marlon Mack. Jason just texted me and said, answer his question. We're skipping it. I think Marlon Mack's a good low-owned play. I don't think I'm going to be there, but he can pop off. It's not a pivot from Hilton. He's Nick's right. The tight ends are the pivot. I like Jack Doyle a little bit more. Last time Ty was out, I don't have the log in front of me, but it was Jack Doyle who got the production there. But yeah, last year it was Ebron, but that was with Luck. I would go Doyle there if I'm trying to pivot in the same game from T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, Doyle's like 3K on DraftKings. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, I do like him. What's Jason's question? He needs
David,
an answer.
David, I had a dream that I was in Green Bay. Does that equate to forcing in Packers plays similar to your Yaz dream? Or Monty Gondola maybe or something? I don't.
Dude, I had a dream about Yasminski on the Orioles, I think, or Giants.
Yastrzemski, yeah. Is that the day he went off? He probably crushed it.
It's the day he went off. I won the monster. It was like 35. I think it was around 35,000 with a giant stack. So yeah, I got to turn these notifications off. But yes, Jason Mizrahi, I think you can play the Packers. The Packers have been popping up more for me as the week's gone on. Aaron Rodgers going back to California, born and raised. He loves it there, loves the weather. Him and
Phil Rivers. It's going to be a home game for Green Bay, too. No one goes to those games that are Chargers fans.
Yeah, and Green Bay travels really well. I do like Rodgers a lot, and I do like his receiving threats, and I do like his running backs, both of them. So, yeah, I'm going to have a Green Bay stack for sure, and I might even bring it back with the Chargers.
Touchdown Watson, someone said. All right, Texans are up 10-9-0. Cool. Do you think Trubisky gets to 250 passing yards? I do. I think David would agree with that as well. That is from John.
Yeah.
I don't see that's the thing is like, can Trubisky get the 300, get that 3-point bonus on DraftKings? That would be awesome for all of us that play him today. But 250, I think for sure. I have Bears in season long.
Yeah.
Should I drop them for Washington? No, you can't drop the Bears for Washington, can you, in season long?
No, Washington's way worse.
Yeah, I think just
I don't have the schedule in front of me, but just I would think no. I'll pull up the schedule and look though. Let's see.
Yeah, Washington defense is low key not that bad. But yeah, I just think I'd stick with the Bears.
Yeah,
they do. Well, what's the next game on the board there? That pretty much covers everything for Chicago, Philly. Yeah,
I'd stick with the Bears.
Gets a big bump up though. Pickett was asking Djack's back. That bumps up Ertz. I think so. In theory, that should open up the middle of the field a lot more. And Ertz has been so quiet. He's due for a big game. If that's a thing, I guess being due is not really a thing in football. But I believe it today. His price is right, especially on DraftKings at 4,700. That's probably the lowest we'll see Zach Ertz go the rest of the year. So buy in today.
Yeah, when you nail the Zach Ertz play one of these weeks, you're going to win a lot of money because people are slowly backing off of him. But next, we've got Minnesota at Kansas City. There's not going to be any Patrick Mahomes. Adam Thielen is going to play. He was pushing to play all week. The coaches were 50-50 on him. I guess he convinced him. One of my favorite running backs in this game is, of course, Dalvin Cook. We touched on it. He gets it done all the time. Kansas City is a good team to target on the ground, more so than in the air. That is not the popular belief, but that is what's true. Kansas City is bad against the running back, and when you've got Dalvin Cook and then even Mattson coming in and beating him up a little bit, I think the Vikings are going to be able to thrive here. I think Cook gets a small bump down with Thielen back on the field just in the pass game, but he should still get 20 touches here through the air or on the ground. I'm not on really any of the tight ends. Irv Smith and Rudolph with Thielen back. Count on either one of those guys. Travis Kelce had a good game last week. But I'm not on him too much, especially for the price. I think you can get someone cheaper, and I'm not a big believer in Matt Moore anyways getting him the ball. Stephon Diggs can take the top off this Kansas City backs, but you've got Thielen back, so it's not like he's just going to be funneled the pass like he has been the past couple games when Thielen's gone down. Besides that, not really on McCoy or any of the other Kansas City backs, not really on Tyreek Hill, even though he can break slates. You've got Matt Moore at the quarterback position. I could see him getting one long one, but I don't think he's getting two. And maybe even the Vikings defense, just because I don't like Matt Moore, but they are not at home and they're a lot better at home. What's your take on this slate, Nick?
Absolutely. Give me all of the Dalvin Cook that I could possibly afford in my lineups. I think he's like minus 225 to score. So that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And he's a pass catcher. I don't know how active Thielen's going to be. He's going to play, but was it hamstring he had issues? So that's not easy to recover from in 2 weeks. So I don't think he'll be, I don't know. I don't like Thielen at all this week. I guess I'll just say that. I do like Diggs. He's like a 10% ownership guy, but he's expensive as hell on DraftKings at 7.6. I just feel like there's no reason for Minnesota to throw it any more than 25 times. So this should be a Dalvin Cook game. Everybody's going to be on Cook too. So that's not a revolutionary pick by any means. I just think this is the best spot for arguably the best running back in the NFL.
Is he your favorite running back this week?
Yeah.
Over McCaffrey?
Yep. It was tough. With Jarrell Casey got ruled out for Tennessee. He's a big run stopper on the Tennessee D line. So that really, I was like, oh, okay, I like McCaffrey a lot now. But I tried to find a way to not love Cook. It's not happening. He's going to eat.
yeah. Man,
I'm going to say 150 and 2. Book it. Man. I hope.
So you're telling me not to fade him for Derrick Henry?
In FanDuel, it's different. See, Derrick Henry's off my player pool every week in DraftKings. He doesn't catch the ball. That team plays so slow. It's like he's kind of slow. So, I'm out on Derrick Henry, but it's a great contrarian play on FanDuel. I definitely think he could score a touchdown, and that's what you really want on FanDuel. So I don't know, but
he's so huge.
To fade Cook, it's an ownership thing. That's all it is you're just getting different there. So I get it. I can't fade Dalvin.
Yeah, I can't either, man. Derrick Henry's so huge. Like, he looks uncomfortable walking because his muscles are just out of control. What a freak show.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight him. That's for sure.
He's I would maybe rather try and tackle Saquon Barkley than Derrick Henry.
That's a good would you rather question, for sports freaks.
Sophie's choice. All right, let's see. Any more questions in YouTube or YouTube show?
CMC against Titans. McCaffrey or Cook? That's the question of the day. My answer is probably going to be McCaffrey and Cook, but that makes my build pretty chalky because then I have to play Jalen Samuels. So I got to find a way to get different on my main lineup, which I'll probably build after the show or maybe during the show. But I think if you're playing tournaments, I think Kelsey's for sure worth a look. He's going to be 10% owned, so you may not see that ever again with Kelce, but he's expensive, 6.9 on DraftKings, so maybe I don't like him that much because that's tough. Like, what could he possibly do? 10 catches is probably his ceiling. 1 or 2 touchdowns. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. At that price, I'd rather go elsewhere. But you're getting Travis Kelce at 10%, so that's the only reason I like him this week is just because it's Travis Kelce at 10%. I do like Sammy Watkins a lot. That is another salary-saving type of receiver this week on DraftKings. He's 4.9K, and Matt Moore seems to like to throw it to him. Tyreek Hill, like you said, his ceiling's kind of limited without Patrick Mahomes being able to sling it. I think Tyreek's for sure going to get a lot of catches. He's a great route runner, but that deep ball is why we like Tyreek Hill. I don't think that's going to be there with Matt Moore. So that I really like Sammy Watkins in this spot because I want to have exposure to this game a little bit because no one's playing KC at all. Their offense is still the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Obviously, it takes a downgrade with no Mahomes, but they know how to move the ball.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to find a cheap way to do it. I will not play one running back in this game. I don't even think McCoy's going to play that much. I think it'll be back to Damian Williams after McCoy fumbled last week and just disappeared from the game plan. So if I had to play one Chief, it's going to be Sammy Watkins due to price, and I think he's got a solid enough floor to hit value for me. I'm not going to play him in cash. The only guy I'm going to play in this game in cash is Dalvin Cook. But I do like Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I was liking Sammy Watkins earlier in the week too. It's just like yeah, it feels like a punt wide receiver. I couldn't do him on any mains, but on a Millie Maker, and there's no way I'm playing McCoy. Like I can't stand to watch this guy run the ball. He looks the way he carries it's like a baby with a rattle. Just like I can't stand to watch him. And I don't think he's going to get as much touches this week. He's still the lead back there, but going against the Vikings rush defense isn't really an easy thing to do either. So nah, and I'll get with you on Watkins on my favorite Kansas City receiver with the price factored in.
Yeah. I mean, the total's 46.5 points. So I think most of the sharp money when I was looking at the line movements this morning looks like everybody's leaning under in this game. Besides, I think the public's maybe on the over just because they just see the Chiefs in Minnesota, I guess. I don't know. But Minnesota's a 4-point favorite on the road here. So I'm just going to go all Dalvin Cook there. And I guess the under would be my play, but it's still a decently high total that where I do want a little bit of Kansas City exposure, and it's going to be Sammy Watkins for me. Jason says you will not be able to get on Saquon.
I won't be able to tackle any of them, but Derrick Henry, man, God, just a wrecking ball. I'm impressed with his workout regimen. Go for the eyes. There's no way. But all right, cool. Did any questions pop up, or should we move on to Washington?
Carr, Henry, Ty Williams versus Detroit. Okay to play for sure. Yeah, we'll get to that game. So it doesn't look like there's any questions that are
cool
for us. Slay is playing. Is that true? That's a decently.
I don't know.
Doubtful. Someone said he's playing, but usually it's like 7 a.m. out there, isn't it? We'll look into that. What's your next game you got there?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the weather right now for the Washington-Buffalo game. It looks like it's getting a little bit worse. So it's going to be breezy. Winds can be from 15 to 20 miles per hour. That sucks because I liked Allen. Gusts can be closer to 30. This is what happened to him last week too. Might mean more ground game. The highest winds are going to be in the first half, and they should go down a little bit in the second half. But it's going to impact your deep passes. So what that is good for is the Buffalo defense, because you've got Dwayne Haskins coming in who's not ready for the NFL. This is Washington's attempt to get him ready for the NFL next year. He's going to throw a couple picks. So Buffalo defense is my top play from this game. Not really interested in anyone else. I had more interest in Allen before this. It's dying down a little bit. Do you have any other takes, or should we just scratch this one off?
Redskins defense due to price. I have a lot of them in my builds. The total's like 36 in this game. I got that. Over under 36, I think now. So the Redskins defense is in play for me, especially if the weather's going to be bad. I don't think 15 to 20 is that bad, but that stadium is greatly affected by wind.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the Redskins are a punt defense that allow me to get studs, and I don't think they've gone negative one time this year. And the Redskins defense is actually not that bad. And Josh Allen is not a world beater by any means. I don't think he's very good. He's obviously great for fantasy because he could run and all that, but he could definitely throw picks too. I mean, Washington's secondary is bad though. Josh Norman is not Josh Norman anymore. It's Quentin Dunbar. I love that guy. He's solid, but John Brown could blow the doors off of all of them. But if it's going to be windy, that's a little bit more risky. But no one's going to play John Brown this week. I've seen a lot of people talk about him, but the ownership's staying right around 10%. So that's a great spot for him if you like it. He's 6,100 on DraftKings. That's a solid price, I guess. I just like a lot more guys under that. It doesn't look like my builds are going to be able to afford John Brown. So Redskins defense for me just because of price, and I don't think they'll get you negative points. So I will be playing. I got to pay up.
Yeah, I get the price play on this. I get the weather play. My concern with the Redskins defense is going to be if I'm so high on the Bills defense because I'm so low on Dwayne Haskins, I think they're going to get a couple turnovers. That's going to shorten the field for the Bills offense, and it's going to be easier to score. I also wouldn't rule out the Bills getting a defensive or special teams touchdown here. I'm not going to be on the Redskins. I get the play. It's not a bad play, but I think I want more of a sure thing for myself today. But
Yeah.
hey, defense is a volatile position. So if you need the salary saver, go with my boy Nick here.
Yeah, that's literally all it is. Salary save. Yeah, next game, I don't like anybody else. No one on the Washington side. Not at all.
Nope.
Not one player. So John Brown and Josh
Nope.
Allen, I guess, if you want to do that, I think that's a great Millie Maker thing. They could obviously blow the doors off a couple times. So they're on my player pool, but I will not have much of them at all. Just both defense.
Yeah, same.
I said, yeah, it's going to be more the Redskins just because of price for me.
Cool. Let's bounce it over to Indy at Pitt. Then we'll check your questions after this. We're going to get off here in about 35, 40 minutes, and we're only halfway done. So Indy at Pitt, Jacoby Brissett versus Mason Rudolph. I'd prefer Brissett there, but not really one of the guys I'm targeting. I'll sprinkle them in a few milli makers. I max the thing out. I'm going to spread it around a few different quarterbacks, but I'm going to have a core of running backs, mix up the 3 wide receivers with the quarterback, and that's how I'm going to try and take it down today. T.Y. Hilton's out. That's going to bump up a couple of these wide receivers. You've got Zach Pascal, who a lot of people are talking about, and I think it's a good value play at 5,300 on FanDuel. He's going to get targeted more with no T.Y. So, yeah, you can go there if you want. Paris Campbell's in the mix. I'm not really on Paris Campbell. Chester Rogers hanging out down here. No thanks. Was Dante? Well, no, I take that back. I'm not going to say Dante Moncrief. Jack Doyle over on the tight end is the tight end on play. We mentioned it earlier. Not too much exciting in this game aside from Jalen Samuels, who you need to lock into your lineup. He is way underpriced. If Connor misses next week, this guy's going to be, $7,000, $8,000. He's going to go off this week. The Steelers running backs go off. Look what Lev Bell did in the system. Look what DeAngelo Williams did in the system when Lev Bell went down. Look what James Conner has emerged into. And now you've got Jalen Samuels taking over the reins. Give me all the Jalen Samuels. I never go 100% on anyone, but I'll go like 90% on Samuels. I know you're on them too, but are there any other plays?
No, not for me. I mean, Indy's got an implied team total of 19.5 points. So they're completely off my board besides maybe Jack Doyle, like we said, and maybe a sprinkle of Ebron and like a millie maker type of thing. Pittsburgh, their implied total is not very high either. It's 20.5. So I tried so hard yesterday to find a way to fade Jalen Samuels. I'm not a guy that likes to eat the chalk like last week with Ty Johnson. I was a hard pass there. But we had 2 guys, though. So then you could go to Lad Murray or Ty Johnson. This week, it's Jalen Samuels or Jalen Samuels. So my thing is, like, how much snaps can this guy get? Like, I think there's 2 weeks this year. I literally tried, when I tell you I tried everything to find a way to fade him. I looked at everything. I was probably sitting on my computer for 4 hours just at like Steelers game logs and stuff. So there's 2 weeks this year that the Steelers have had a running back take over 70% snaps, right? So that was week 5, and that was when Jalen Samuels got hurt. So it was James Conner that did everything after Jalen Samuels got hurt. Yep. And then week 8, James Conner, and that was last week, and then Benny Snell got hurt in that game. So those are the only 2 times that an RB1 in Pittsburgh has had more than the 70% snap share. And this guy's coming off of it's a minimal surgery, but it's a knee surgery. So that's like my theory on can I fade him, and I still turned out no. But in tournaments, cash, you have to lock him in. That is the first play.
Yeah.
56, you just have to do it. If he's 80% owned, it doesn't matter, because if he goes off and you don't have him in cash, you're done. You have to have him in cash. And if he doesn't do anything, it doesn't matter, because 80% of the field's going to have him in cash, and you just need to get to the top 50%. So you eat the chalk in cash for sure if it makes sense, and today it makes all the sense in the world. But, yeah, do you have any thoughts on that? Then the thing is, I was like, okay, Trey Edmonds. This guy hasn't caught a ball in the NFL, right? He's a power back. So if anything happens, I think Trey Edmonds gets a goal line touch or something, maybe vultures a touchdown. but he only had 21 catches in college, and I think most of those were like his freshman year at Maryland, maybe. I don't remember. I'm not a Trey Edmonds guy, sorry. But he's done nothing in the NFL. So, like, I tried so hard. I didn't want to play Jalen Samuels in turn, but that was my thing. Snap share thing. He's coming off surgery, but it's like Trey Edmonds. Like, he's not going to be on the field in third down. So the pass catching equity for Jalen Samuels is why you have to play him, I think. On DraftKings for sure, and FanDuel, same thing.
Yeah, if I were to squeeze Trey Edmonds in any lineup, lineup, it's going to be one without Jalen Samuels. But I'm not. I'm not going to squeeze Trey Edmonds in there.
Yeah, don't play Trey Edmonds. Don't do it unless it watch him score twice. That'd be hilarious. But
be so sick. I don't know. Be so sick. I'll throw up. I'll throw up on the live stream. All right, let's hop over to YouTube. See if we have any more questions here. All
right, so Darius Slay does seem like he's going to play. So we got Ty Williams versus Detroit. Okay to play, I think for sure. Like Darius Slay is good, but he's not going to shadow completely, right? Ty Williams kind of goes all over.
Yeah,
and his price is good on DraftKings. Slay's back. Any other questions?
Okay. Anything else there?
Aaron Jones, Curtis Samuel, or Jalen Samuels, Keenan Allen for a GPP on FanDuel.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones. Safest floor. Yeah, definitely Aaron Jones.
Singletary since when Singletary's definitely in play for me. I forgot all about him. I don't love him, but he will be in some of my tournament lineups for sure. If no one's going to play him, I think they just want to get him more involved, but I don't want much of that Buffalo game at all. But I do like Devin Singletary for sure. They have a 24-point implied total, so that's solid. Yeah, and Devin Singletary's going to be like 3% owned, so definitely in play for sure.
Yeah, versus a bad rush D. You've also got Frank Gore, who is $100 more than Devin Singletary. They're splitting carries a little too much for me. Singletary, I think he's a good back, but he got banged up a little bit. Now he's returning to full form. He only got 3 carries. Was that the game he got hurt in versus Philly? But he's getting targeted. I'm not big on him. I don't think he's getting 2 touchdowns. I think they're going to split the work here personally in a week where I'm really sold on some other running backs. I probably won't have any. But in season long, I'll play him, no doubt about it.
All right. I think Tennessee, Carolina's the next one. The last noon game we haven't covered.
Let's see. Where is Tennessee, Carolina? Did we talk about this already? No, I guess not. Yeah, it's CMC for me. CMC and Derrick Henry at the running back. Carolina's given up the most rushing touchdowns to running back. Maybe we were talking about Henry, so I thought we already talked about it. But I guess not. I like those 2 guys. They're wide receivers for Carolina. You've got Curtis Samuel, who's going to play, it looks like. DJ Moore, who's going to play. They're both getting a nice amount of targets. They're pretty they're both pretty popular this week, actually. They're looking a little chalky for Carolina receivers, but DJ Moore, sell us on him, Nick. Why do you love him so much?
So this is what sucks is when I do my cash article on Monday, so it's really hard to actually find guys. There's a lot of injury trouble and stuff like that, so I have a very hard time writing that article on a Monday. But DJ Moore just showed up, and I was like, okay, this is the exact same slate that I wanted to pick with Mike Evans last week. Obviously, DJ Moore is not Mike Evans, but I think LaShawn Sims is going to play for Adoree Jackson. He may be back this week. I think it's Adoree and Malcolm Butler are both questionable. I got that written down. I think, no, they may both play, but I don't care. They both suck. So I love DJ Moore. I think he's a great route runner. His price is perfect. And it's the same reason why I went to Mike Evans last week is I just want to pick on these Tennessee outside cornerbacks. So I love DJ Moore at that price, and I thought I was going to be on to something this week and he'd be like 2% owned as the week went on when I wrote that Monday, and now it's like, yeah, people love DJ Moore. It's like,
yeah, people are on him. Does Curtis Samuel being banged up help you get on DJ Moore?
Yeah, for sure. It's like McCaffrey's going to go off, right? Jarrell Casey's out. I mentioned that earlier. He's the best run stopper on Tennessee. So, everybody says Tennessee is such a hard matchup against running backs, and they are for sure, but they allow the second most catches to running backs. And what does CMC do the best, right? He catches the ball. Mm-hmm. So everything's coming up. CMC smashes here. So I think one of my lineups, they got an implied team total of 23, so that's all right. I usually like to find 25 and above if I'm stacking. But I think you could definitely stack Kyle Allen here with Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, and then you could maybe do one with Greg Olsen in there somewhere if you don't want more in there. But it's DJ Moore for me. I want nothing to do with Curtis Samuel. If he beats me, he beats me. Cool. Then I can make.
Yeah, I know. Jay was talking about Greg Olsen a lot this week. He likes him as one of his value tight ends going against the 22nd ranked tight end defense in Tennessee. So that's okay. Jonnu Smith's going to get another bump up this week with Delaney Walker out. Teams know that, I mean, he's a threat. They're going to have an eye on him more so than usual, but he's still going to get targeted. I mean, he's only 5,500. I don't think I want to chase those points. I think everyone who played Jonnu Smith last week is going to go back and play Jonnu Smith again.
I was one of them. I'm not going back.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things you learn doing this for years is that you don't chase the touchdowns. It's the NFL. It's going to be different. That's why no one ever wins showdown slates because it's hard. Everyone's trying to predict the same thing that happened, and it's pretty impossible. But Jonnu Smith, I'll throw him in a couple just because because it's scared money and I don't want to miss out. But just looking at the matchup, looking at the skill set, looking at his career, I'm not too high on Jonnu Smith. That about does it for me in this game. Carolina defense has been popping up in some models. Don't hate them. They have a good defense. They're at home. I do like Derrick Henry, but it's not going to crush one defense. I wouldn't play Henry on my Panthers stacks. I wouldn't play more on or Henry on my Panthers defense teams. I wouldn't play more on my Panthers defense teams. You could play Christian McCaffrey on your Panthers defense teams because it's a good idea to correlate running back and defense, not so much wide receiver quarterback and defense. And then Nick like Panthers too. So you can get on them. It's a pretty good play. Do we have any more questions in YouTube chat?
No, so I think so. So Singletary since Windy, need very good cheap wide receivers. I think we've kind of covered a lot of those.
Don't we all?
Yeah. DJ Moore's one of them. He's super cheap on there. And Greg Olsen is 3,500 and Jonnu Smith is 3,800. Give me Greg Olsen at that all day. So John.
Some of the guys some of the cheap receivers we've already talked about. We'll talk about more. Anthony Miller, Sammy Watkins, DJ Moore, and then we had some Miami guy, Devontae Parker and Robbie Anderson.
Preston Williams, right?
All right.
I like Anthony Miller too as a slow one. So one thing about Dalvin Cook, if I don't think it's been said yet, but Chris Jones and Frank Clark, if those guys are both out, and Alex Okafor is out, so these are good run stoppers for KC here. But if Chris Jones and Frank Clark are out, I'm 100% Dalvin. So I just want to say that if you're on the fence of a lineup where you want McCaffrey or Dalvin, I would say make sure you get that injury news on Chris Jones and Frank Clark. If they're both out, that's a big up for Dalvin Cook. If they're both in, then just go with your gut on which guy you like more.
Okay, Javi's telling us we messed up a question. Aaron Jones and Curtis Samuel or Jalen Samuel and Keenan Allen?
And a GPP,
tough too.
I think Aaron Jones and Curtis Samuel is their answer because Keenan's pretty chalky and Jalen is obviously insanely chalky.
Yeah, okay, GPP. Man, I don't know. I can't fade Samuel, though. I don't love Allen.
Keenan Allen's got a really good catch prop. He's got 6 catches, and I think his total yardage is right around 100. So Vegas likes Keenan Allen to bounce back this week. I like that a lot.
I would go Jalen Samuel, Keenan Allen. I'd go Samuel Allen, especially you got Devontae Adams back, who's gonna get a little more involved with the offense. Obviously, it might take a couple passes away from Aaron Jones. Not anything to really look into too heavily, but I'm not fading Samuel, and Keenan Allen is where I'm going to have to land. Javi saying weather in Buffalo, winds will be between 15 and 20. Yep. 30-mile-per-hour gust. Yeah, we don't love Allen as much, the quarterback anymore, Josh Allen as much. How many shares of CMC, Cook, and Jalen together will you have in your lineups? Javi already told you, Javi, 100%. I want 100%. So I'm gonna like 90%, man. That's gonna be my core, and then I'm gonna just mix in different wide receivers. They're all in great spots. Let's not play the same contest because you're probably doing it too. Another question from Pixie. Would you pivot to Matson instead
Yeah,
of
no,
Cook? No,
no.
that's too much pivoting. You don't have to do that. Get a starter. Get a starter. Don't get a back that might only touch the ball 3 or 4 times.
Next game, I think we go
He
with the
says,
afternoon. Right, that's all the questions. Oh, Jimmy Graham. I don't like his price. Where is he
yeah.
at?
What about
In a
Jimmy Graham?
Packer
I
stack,
just saw. Yeah,
absolutely.
cool.
In a Packer stack, you could do that. He has 4.3K. Like, I'd rather have Greg Olson at 3.5. Rather have Doyle at 3 and Brait at 3,100. But yeah, if you're playing a Packer stack, for sure, Jimmy Graham's going to play. No one's going to play him. But I just every build I have, I need an extra $1,000. It seems like, so I'm not going to pay up for Jimmy Graham unless it's a straight up Packer stack.
Okay, so we got 30 minutes. We're going to knock out 4 more games. We're going to get through these quick. Tampa Bay at Seattle. It's going to be a high-scoring game. We all think Russell Wilson, great. Jameis Winston, good to great. Chris Carson, not on him. I like Tampa Bay's rush defense. None of the Tampa Bay running backs are even on my radar. Chris Godwin is an absolute smash spot. If you can get him in, get him in. Mike Evans, great spot. Like Godwin more. I don't think you're going to be able to fit both of these guys. And if you are somehow able to fit them both, if you don't play Jameis Winston, you don't know what you're doing. Then Tyler Lockett against Tampa Bay, great spot. DK Metcalf, not as great a spot as Tyler Lockett. He's still dropping balls. I know he got in the end zone versus Atlanta. Not hard to do. I'm not back on him this week. A lot of people are, though. And then I like Cameron Brate at the tight end. He's got his ribs banged up a little bit. It looks like he's going to be able to go. Jameis Winston targets him in the red zone. I like Cameron Brate to finally pay off. I've been playing him the past few weeks and haven't been thrilled yet. And as far as the defenses go, I'm not touching him. Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, he flew through that. All right, so Cameron Brate, so I was not going to play Brate. I was going to go to Doyle and Cash, but Quandre Diggs is out. That's the guy I talked about last week who was traded from Detroit. He covers the tight end a lot, and he's very good at it. He's not playing today for Seattle. So Brate is for sure in play. We got no OJ Howard. I don't think there's really any other relevant injury news there. So yeah, Evans and Godwin, they're obviously in an excellent spot. I prefer Godwin. I wrote that in my cash, so I agree with David there. I just think the inside of the field's a much better spot to attack Seattle. They both, Evans and Godwin, have a 6-catch prop, so that's awesome. Vegas likes them. They're both projected for the highest yardage in receiving, so that's awesome. Then next up will be Lockett. So this game should shoot out. It's going to be insanely chalky, but now, like,
Yep.
I don't know how people could afford all these guys in their games. Like, how do you game stack this and get Cook or McCaffrey? You can't, right?
Nope.
So that's
Can't do
where
it.
and I'm gonna be underweight on this game now. I know in my stacks article I was gonna be overweight, but then I just went into these matchups with McCaffrey and Cooks. Like I have to play one of them, if not both. So it seems like I'm going to go with Brait or Metcalf. I love Lockett. I love Godwin. I will have some exposure, but I can't afford it. So if you guys can do it, it's the best place on the board probably. But Metcalf's got like even money to score a touchdown. So that's pretty awesome. Again, like that's something I want to target. Not many receivers have that. I think it's Godwin is minus 120, Evans is minus 120, Lockett's minus 120. Then everybody else is even money, and that's just Metcalf and Galladay, I think. So Vegas loves
Metcalf.
the game's ability to blow up, I guess, but Seattle can run the ball so much. I'm off Carson. Like to you, I think this is a game we need to talk about a little bit, and we can kind of fly through the others. But like, how does this game not go over? So that's what I'm trying to find myself. Like Carson could get 25 carries, right? Seattle can play slow.
Yeah.
So I think the way this game shoots out is if Tampa Bay wins the coin toss, elects to receive, and they score right off the bat. Like get Russell going that way. Otherwise, I don't think they're just going to change their game plan of being such a run-heavy team. For Tampa Bay, yeah, the run defense is awesome, but Seattle's run offense is awesome. So that kind of cancels each other out.
Yeah. I'm usually on Chris Carson. I'm not this week. He's not gonna, let's look at the running backs around his price range. You've got McCaffrey 9,700 on FanDuel, Cook 9,000, Carson sandwiched in between Cook and Chubb. I like Cook and Chubb better than Carson. So It's just he's going to be low owned, but I think he's going to be low owned because he's not in the best spot out of these top guys. If he were to overcome that, then sure, he's a great play. But I'm not in the habit of trying to guess who's going to overcome a bad matchup when I have
Yeah.
3 or 4 other studs around that running back. In season long, obviously you play him. In DFS, I'm not going to have him this week.
Yeah. The one thing about Carson, he does have a touchdown prop of -225. But his yardage prop wasn't very, anything worth writing home about. So that's what I think he'll get from Carson. Maybe a couple goal line carries and a touchdown. But I'm off him.
So what's no
I
like
can't
plus
afford him.
195?
What's up?
What's no like plus 195 or something?
Who are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Carson, like if it's mine, you can take no, right? He
Oh
won't score
yeah. I
touchdowns.
didn't even look at that. Yeah, I just write down what it's got to be around that. Yeah, probably 2-1 not to score.
What about Russell Wilson? I'm not I don't he's in a good spot. I know. He could smash. You can throw on Tampa Bay. But I don't like really taking the highest price quarterback usually. That
The
means
highest
he
price
has
and the
to,
highest owned. That's two bad
yeah,
combos for me.
it's 2 bad combos. That means that you don't think anyone out of every other quarterback playing is going to have, a game that exceeds their value more than Russell Wilson. I just don't do that a lot. He could score 29 points here. I mean, but I'm going to try and find another guy that's going to get right around that. If you love Russell Wilson this week, play him. I'm not going to talk you off of him. I'm not on him. I also think Tampa Bay kind of takes away his rush potential some. I mentioned a little bit last night. When a play breaks down, Russell's great at making something work on his feet.
Yeah, they'll
I know when
contain.
that
They'll definitely
happens.
contain.
Yeah, and I know when that happens too, Tampa Bay's, rush defense kind of breaks down too. So it's not like Russell's going up, straight up the center trying to run the ball, which is what Tampa Bay's good at stopping. But I think they limit him a little bit. And I'm just not going to have a lot of Russell Wilson this week.
Yeah, blaming cash if you can afford them. I don't think you're not going to get an edge on the field by playing them in tournaments, in my opinion. So if you play them in tournaments, you got to get different somewhere.
All right, I'm looking at a question here. Someone's got $8,100. They need a wide receiver. I mean, Evans or who? I mean, come on, man. You can choose anybody. You can have anybody you want, except for Chris Godwin if you find $100 somewhere. But if you're take Evans. Evans is fine with me. You've got to have a crazy. I'd like to know the rest of your lineup, if that's the dilemma. But up here around that, like you've got Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, then Kenny Galladay. Out of that pack, I'll do Galladay and maybe upgrade another position. But yeah, definitely Evans is in the best spot, I would say. Anything different there?
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have, friend.
Yeah, whatever you did, you built some cheap players, so good stuff.
Yeah. Do you play Carson with Seattle D? Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe not. I'm kind of high on Tampa Bay too. You maybe not in that case. I'm not. It's a good idea to play running back with your defense, but not every time. And that's not a case I'm doing. I'm not on Carson or Seattle D really. Would you play Redskins D to spend money elsewhere? Yeah, Nick's into that. Here's someone's just giving us a lineup. I'll answer this: Trubisky, Cook, CMC, Robinson, Anderson, Evans, Olsen, Flex Samuel, Washington D. GPP thoughts? That's a GPP.
I like that.
For me.
I do like that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Nick likes it.
Man,
sure you can run that.
Much. Do you like CMC with Olsen paired together? I guess it's fine because Olsen's just a salary saver for you, I guess. Just
you know what? You might have a.
If I do a couple guys from a team, I want them to have a high implied total. And Carolina's at 23, so it's kind of a little bit below my threshold. But I guess if Olsen's strictly a punt play, well, can't you get? Oh man, maybe Brait or something there. I don't know. I don't think it's bad. I love the Robinson and Robbie Anderson. And then you get Mike Evans because you get some exposure to the highest implied game on that slate there with Seattle and Tampa Bay. I think the over is at 53. So that's good. It's just, yeah, I guess with Olsen, just play him if it's a salary relief thing there.
Pixie. He's asking Galladay or a wide receiver from Tampa Bay, Seattle. Look, they're all in great spots. It's tough, right? So in that case, I'm going to say build the rest of your lineup and see who you can fit in there. Galladay's great play. Lockett's a great play. Godwin, Evans, they're all great plays. I say figure out the rest of what you want to do and then fit in any of those guys. I don't think it's not I can't just answer do I want Galladay or one of these four other guys. It's too
pick
hard.
it one note.
Marvin.
Oh, sorry. Real quick.
I'm done.
Trubisky with Robinson. Any Bear stack you do, I like my lineups to kind of tell a story. So in my Bears stacks, right, if the Bears are passing a ton, it's because Philly's scoring. So get Zach Ertz or someone, or maybe Alshon Jeffrey on that that lineup there. Because if you're trying to win a GPP, right, like sure, if Trubisky and Robinson are only there, well, Robinson's really not a salary saver. But if you're only playing Trubisky to save salary, then you don't really need to do something like this. But if you're trying to get up there in a GPP, like make sure your lineup makes sense. So if Trubisky and Robinson are going off, obviously Philly's doing something, right? Because the Bears would like to run the ball if they're winning by a lot. So if they're scoring a lot, obviously Philly needs to score. So I like to get one or two guys from Philly, and Zach Ertz would be my guy there. So in my Bears stacks, I do have a lot of Robinson with Trubisky, and then Ertz on the other side, or Robinson, Anthony Miller, Ertz, and then we're paying up for studs everywhere else.
Nope. All right, cool. Detroit, Oakland. Matt Stafford's one of my favorite spend-up quarterbacks, if not my favorite spend-up quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is starting to tempt me, but I do like Stafford. He's been hot lately, 7 touchdowns the past 2 games. Oakland's allowing, I don't have in front of me, it's something like 282 yards per game to the wide receiver, like 8.6 yards per catch, I think it is, to the wide receiver. Oakland's not you can throw all over them. I know it's in Oakland. I don't think it matters. I know Stafford's better at home. He's looked sharp, like I said. I'm not too worried about that either. I love his receivers in Galladay, Marvin Jones, and I don't like the running backs. And I think you might have a different take than me on the running backs this week. But I think they're going to have to lean on the pass game more, and that is what Stafford is going to, excel at. Obviously, he's throwing the ball, and I even like T.J. Hockenson a little bit at 5,000, going against the 30th ranked tight end defense. I don't think he's going to be very popular. He's had a couple games where he's got a touchdown. I think he has the opportunity to get another one today. On the Oakland Raiders side, Darren Waller's the most targeted tight end in the past month in the NFL. I love him. He's the most expensive. Still love him. And Tyrell Williams has a touchdown in every single game this year. That is insane. You got to have interest.
So
he what?
He's even money to score too.
I mean, come on, this guy, he's got to be. He's got a touchdown every game. And then you have Derek Carr. I'm not going to play Carr. I don't like Carr. I think he's a bad quarterback. I know his numbers say he's good or whatever. He had a good game last week at Houston. Fine. He got 3 touchdowns. Fine. He's not a guy I count on to be able to duplicate that. I am not playing Derek Carr on any of my main teams this week. What do you got, Nick?
I think Carr is fine for cash. Not great, but his price is so good on DraftKings at 5,500. So I do like
2,000 left.
Cash. Yeah, I do like that in cash. So that's fine. He's in play for sure. This is a high total game. I personally think it goes under, but I think Oakland does run the ball a lot today. So I like Josh Jacobs a ton. I don't think Snacks Harrison is playing today. Mike Daniels is doubtful. Tracy Walker's out, so he covers the tight end, and he's not good anyway. So I think that Waller's for sure the nuts play here for Oakland. But I do like Josh Jacobs a lot. He's going to be right around that 10% ownership mark. And it's just he's affordable on DraftKings at 6,500, and that always kind of fits into my mold of get some exposure to these high total games. Anything over 50 is very high. And the only 2 games on this slate that have that is Detroit and Oakland and Tampa Bay, Seattle. So Josh Jacobs is affordable. I like him a lot. You could run all over Detroit, especially if Harrison and Mike Daniels are out. So that's a great spot. And that kind of – I don't think Derek Carr's that good. And like you said there. So he's only a cash play for me. But if they're going to win this game, I think they just run the hell out of the ball.
Javi knows what he's talking about, and he's saying lock in Carr. So He can play Carr. I'll play someone else.
He's
He
my
knows what he's
captain
talking
quarterback
about.
at the moment. Yeah,
On
but
DK, it's much, much better. I look at FanDuel prices, and he's 2,000 more on FanDuel. So DK, he's much better. I wouldn't play him on FanDuel. There you go.
for sure, Tyrell
Questions.
in play. I like him, and yeah, I love the anything Detroit passing game wise. So I'm actually going to use Ty Johnson this week a little bit. I'm going to go
Okay.
right back. I'm going to go right back to where everybody was just on, where I was off. Now I'll get on. It's just for like large field tournaments and stuff. But he's cheap. He's 4.9K. He's got solid props, I think. And this game should go more in favor of the Lions. So I think he'll be on the field a lot more. I'm not worried about Trey Carson. He may even be hurt. I don't know. I don't care about this Lions running back situation, but just in some tournaments, I will use Ty Johnson. But Danny Amendola, what are your thoughts on him? This dude's getting targeted like crazy. So he's kind of what got me off of Hawkinson. Is because he's just getting so many snaps now, and he takes the middle of the field, and Stafford loves him. So Hawkinson, I think his value is with a touchdown. But on DraftKings, Amendola is 4.7K. He's probably going to make my cash lineup as we go through the thing here, just because I need salary relief. But he's got a matchup with so I have like a little sheet here of guys I pick on, and it's the Tennessee outside cornerbacks, and LaMarcus Joyner on the inside at Oakland is one of them too. So I'm just going to stick to my sheet here and pick on LaMarcus Joyner. And by the way, I hate Danny Amendola. Probably a nice guy, whatever. But he gets concussed every other game, it seems like. And I don't know. I don't like those little grinder players, that he seems like in high school sports, he's a dude just going balls out every single day at practice, kind of pissing you off. But I mean, he made a good career out of it. But he's just in a great spot today and a great price. I will have a lot of Danny Amendola, I think, just because I'm probably not going to be able to afford Galladay. I prefer Marvin Jones this week, actually.
Yeah, so I'm not on Danny Amendola, and just
I hate it too,
because
by
I
the
can't
record.
play everyone.
I hate that I'm on.
What's that?
I hate that I'm on Danny Amendola.
Yeah.
But
I can't play everyone. I'm not playing Danny Amendola. Maybe I do it on DraftKings, just PPR or whatever, but I'm not really playing on DraftKings. I'm not gonna chase the Dammy Amendola. That's what I'm gonna call him. Dammy Areolas. I'm not chasing the point, and someone else can play him. I hope he doesn't beat me, but I'd rather have Marvin Jones. I'd rather have Kenny Galladay. I'd rather have TJ Hawkinson.
yeah, it's a price thing for me. It's the only thing.
Yeah,
my builds, he keeps popping up, and I hate it. So
I mean, he caught 8 balls last week. I think he caught 8 the week before. I mean,
he's getting targets.
Looks like a good value receiver, but I gotta plant my flag some places, and
for sure. Well, he's not nearly as valuable on FanDuel either. It's that full point PPR. You need Danny Amendola because he's not going to go for an 80-yard bomb. Like he runs like 7-yard routes.
All right, let's look in the chat here one or two more times. See what Javi's telling me I did wrong this time.
Javi's on the ball though. I like
figures. Trey Carson on IR.
Hi Johnson, baby, let's go. Oh, you guys ran it last week. I'll go this week. Maybe that's where I can get different.
Let's do all right, 2 more games, and I'm getting out of here and building some lineups, making another coffee. Cleveland at Denver. Don't even turn on your TV. It's going to be ugly, folks. Cleveland's bad. Denver's got a new quarterback coming in. Cash with Flash was high on these Broncos last night on SiriusXM. Give him a follow on Twitter. The Broncos defense is going to be fine, except you've got Nick Chubb coming the other way, who we do like a lot, but Baker Mayfield looks terrible. And I encourage everyone to go Google the clip of Baker Mayfield losing his temper when someone asked him a question about how bad they were doing. Oh, I know, man. I hate that guy. I was telling people last year, this guy's a brat. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't watch the show. No one's going to send this to him. He's a brat. I don't like it. I like Johnny Manziel better.
Whoop my I don't know if I can curse on here, so he'd whoop my butt probably, but I'd get in the ring with him if I had to for the show. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it. Celebrity boxing.
Yeah, he's big.
Set it up. Yeah. Well, you've got Cleveland Chubba Dub. We like him. OBJ is going to be low owned, but who's throwing?
I'm
I
out
mean,
100% out on Odell Beckham. Chris Harris is one of the best corners in the NFL, and he will be
yep,
everywhere Odell Beckham is.
yep.
But I love
Cortland
Jarvis
Sutton.
Landry. I love Landry.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm
get into Landry.
he is my cash lock of the game on the week. So on DraftKings, he's 4,500, and I kind of just went into every time that Chris Harris is shadowed. I think it's in my cash write up if you want the actual breakdown of it. I think it's weeks 2, 3, and 8. He's shadowed, maybe one other game in there regarding Chris Harris. And the number 2 receiver and usually the slot guy for these teams went absolutely off, and Chris Harris would shut down the number 1 guy. I think it was Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson. He shadowed, and then last week, who did they play last week? I don't know. Whatever. It's in my write-up if you want more information on it. Just trust me here that Jarvis Landry is in an absolute smash spot. The only thing I don't like about him is similar to Danny Amendola is he doesn't run deep routes. So we're hoping for 7 to 10 catches here for him to get to the 20-point mark. But in cash, I think he's a lock for 12 points. And that's really all we need to hit value there, assuming that you're using Landry to pay up for stud running backs or stud receivers in these great spots that we covered earlier. But yeah, Jarvis Landry, if he, barring injury, knock on wood here, he is my cash game lock. He is part of the sexy 6 that I will cover right after our last game. But on DraftKings, love him. I could talk for the next 30 minutes about Jarvis Landry if you want me to.
We're running out of time, Nick. We're going to pick back up on that later. You tweeted about it. But, hey, man, I like the pick. I usually like Jarvis Landry. Scott got me calling him Jarvis Beavis Landry because he never scores. This guy can't get in the end zone. But you were absolutely right about OBJ is going to be covered up. Landry's the next best guy. You've got Callaway, who's a big play threat, hanging out down there. But Landry's going to be getting the targets. I would say so, too. So, all right, I wasn't on him, but I just wrote him down. I'm going to get a couple lines in with him. And then let's just touch on Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman situation. Lindsay's a little beat up. I think it's a shoulder. I'll tell you in a second. I think it's a wrist. Okay. So it's not as bad as a shoulder, but they're still going to be splitting carries, but you can run it on Cleveland. It's hard to play running backs at split carries. I don't like doing it. I'm definitely not playing the Denver quarterback, Brandon Allen.
No.
It even gives me a little bit of interest in the Browns defense, as bad as they are. But Brandon Allen is he's not a starting NFL caliber quarterback. He's just not. He's got a great job, best job in the world, backup quarterback in the NFL. But I don't think I don't think he's going to be a good play at all. Really kind of fading this game personally. And let's bounce over to this last one just because we're running out of time and I want to answer some questions at the end. We've got Green Bay at the Chargers in Los Angeles. Aaron Rodgers, I like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers in California is a thing that I like. He has looked great recently. The Chargers are not that great defending the pass. He's got his main threat back with Devontae Adams, it looks like. He's got 2 very capable pass-catching running backs in Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, who both have looked fantastic. You've got MVS, Geronimo Allison, who I'm not really into, and then emerging Lazard. Also have Jimmy Graham. He might have the most pass-catching options on the slate, honestly.
The hardest guy to stack.
I think I got to – what'd you say?
He's the hardest guy to stack. He's Jared Goff with all these weapons. It's like when you do a Ram stack, you're like, who the hell do you play? Rodgers.
Maybe just play Rodgers and get a piece of whoever's catching the ball. If someone's catching it, he's got so many guys to spread it around to. Just take the points with Rodgers. Maybe play him naked so you're not trying to choose the guy to pair him up with. Just know you're getting a piece of whatever touchdown they get.
Yeah, for sure. This is my favorite game to stack, actually, because no one's playing either. Rodgers is at like 5% on DraftKings, and Phil Rivers is at like 3 or 4. I love both of those guys this week. And so I'm going to have probably my most heavy game, actually, is as the week went on when just no one's playing them. Like you said, Rodgers in California. And it's going to be a home game for the Packers, even though it's in LA. So I love this game to go over. I think Membane is out, the defensive tackle for the Chargers, and then so is Cortez Broughton. So that was really the reason I like David Montgomery so much last week. Is this defensive line for LA is so beat up. I think Melvin Ingram's back though. He's one of their linebackers. He's a good run defense guy, but. Yeah, I think this game goes way over the total, and no one's playing it. So this is the game I'm probably going to be overweight on, not Seattle, Tampa Bay anymore. And you could afford guys in this game.
What guys from the Chargers do you like?
Eckler and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Mike Williams is 4,600 on DraftKings. I love that. So he's like the anti-Landry, right? His volume may not be there like the 10 catch floor. I guess not floor. 10 catch ceiling is probably not there now that Hunter Henry's back. But his price on DraftKings is so cheap, and he's got Kevin King in coverage most of the time. So I love his chance of beating Kevin King down the field and getting a touchdown or two. He's just so big, and I don't think Kevin King's very good. Packers jersey.
I'm on board. I'm on board with all that. Eckler is a good play too on DraftKings, not FanDuel.
Yeah. So hey, real quick, the thing on Eckler.
Yeah.
He popped. I was looking at the props, and he was the second running back on the board with catches. So McCaffrey's at 5.5 catch prop, and Austin Eckler was at 5. I was like, damn. Okay, so Vegas loves Eckler this week. His price is there. No one's playing him. I know I was high on him last week. He kind of let us down. He did get in the box, but the ceiling really wasn't there. But again, if they got Eckler at a 5 catch prop, Vegas think this game's going to shoot out. So I'm going to play him on DraftKings for sure. Melvin Gordon's got a really nice price too. He's 5K, but I'm going to go Eckler because my theory is this game's going to shoot out. If it doesn't, then a lot of my lineups will go down burning, and I'm cool with that. But I don't. I'm just going to make a theory. If my theory goes well, odds are my lineups are going to go well. That's kind of how I like to build my lineups. Have a theory with it. If you hit your theory, you're good.
Yeah, it's going to suck waiting all day to watch that game because you're just going to watch your lineup slowly die until the game finally comes on, and just you're going to be rooting hard at 5:30 Eastern today. But I like that game stack a ton. I like it a ton. All right, we're going to answer some questions, and we're going to get out of here. Let's see. Going to sign up now. Hey, thanks. Allen okay for Carolina QB. We like the pass catchers there. We like the running back, and I think he's okay, but I'm not going to have a lot of him. Nick, are you going to have a lot of him?
Just large field GPP for sure. If you're using Kyle Allen for Carolina, put McCaffrey with him and use DJ Moore, then maybe either DJ Moore or Olsen. Make the 3-man stack in like a large field GPP tournament. The thing I just don't like about Kyle Allen is he doesn't really ever throw it more than like 35 times. So the upside's not necessarily there unless you capitalize with the touchdowns. If you get the guys he throws touchdowns to, which is probably going to be McCaffrey on one, and then either Greg Olsen or DJ Moore, maybe both. So in a Millie Maker type of thing or a 5-entry max or something, I would use that, but that's about it.
Cool. Yeah, you've also got Scam Newton talking about coming back. Maybe Allen wants to.
No, I said this morning I got a little push update that says he may go to the IR.
Oh, good. I don't like Cam Newton. He is he's not a good person, man. I'm a Bama fan though. He's an Auburn guy after they paid him. So, I don't like Cam Newton. Josh Allen, what's up, Justin? We are coming a little down on Josh Allen just because of the wins there. It could look similar to last week. He's getting bumped down a little bit. If you need someone in season long, I'd play him. He's coming off some of my DFS rosters though. Unfortunately, I love Josh Allen, but I can't fight the weather.
I think just use Buffalo D.
Buffalo D. There you go. All right, Scott Robinson, Rodgers, CMC, Aaron Jones, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. You've already made a mistake. I'll tell you what it is. Robbie Anderson, Darren Waller, Samuels, Redskins, FanDuel. You have 2 of the pass catchers from the Chargers on one team, but you do not have Phillip Rivers. I would put Phillip Rivers on that team, and then I'd bump up Redskins
defense. Yeah, there you go. Get off Rodgers, go to Rivers with that build, and pay up on defense. I love that though, Scott. That should be good.
Yeah. Nice. How about Cousins and seeing play? Good question about Cousins. Yeah, Cousins is in play. He's got Thielen back. He's got Diggs back. He can throw to Cook. He can throw to Irv. If Irv gets on the field, he won't as much. Irv Smith, he won't get on the field as much with Thielen back because they're running 2 tight end sets. He's got Rudolph's corpse out there. He might chuck a couple at and hope he catches. He's in play he's going to be low owned.
Minnesota's got the 3rd highest total on the board. So that's
highest total on the board?
3rd highest.
Yep.
Seattle, Green Bay, then Minnesota for in-play totals.
Word. Let me see what Jay's texting me. Maybe it's about the show. Maybe it's about he wants to send me some more D pics. If you watch SiriusXM, you'll get the joke. Look, all right, we're gonna go position by position really fast. I'm gonna ask you for your favorite quarterback, favorite running back, probably running back pivot, favorite wide receiver. You get the deal. Who's your favorite quarterback this week?
Ooh. Aaron Rodgers.
I was gonna say Rodgers too, but I'm gonna go with
All right,
Stafford now.
I'll go
Coming.
Phil Rivers then if you want Rodgers. No one's playing
All
Rivers.
three of them.
And he makes sense with my builds that liking these running backs. So I'll go Phil Rivers. The hell with it. I like him.
All right. Our favorite running backs are CMC, Cook, and Samuels. But let's get one off the board. I'll go Derrick Henry. What about you, Nick?
DraftKings tournament. I will go Eckler.
Dope. I like that play. Wide receiver.
One of those, yeah. But I'm just gonna go low on guys. Wide receiver. Jarvis Landry.
Oh, buddy. Chris Godwin's in a great spot. I'm just going to take the easy. I'm going to take the easy one there. I'll go Chris Godwin.
Punt, David. That's a punt.
Okay. I'll give you a punt. I'll give you a punt. If it's even a punt, I like Allen Robinson a ton this week. So play Allen Robinson.
For sure.
Quit texting me, Javi. I'm on a show. You know this. Tight end, Darren Waller is going to be my favorite tight end. If I've got to go down a little bit, I'll take Hunter Henry. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, Darren Waller, Zach Ertz.
Cool. And then Buffalo Bills defense, and you have?
Yeah, the Bills are obviously awesome. So I'm just gonna go with Washington because again, it makes the most sense for how I'm building my lineups right now.
Cool. That's it. We're wrapping it up. I've got work to do.
All right. I'll do my sexy six real quick. Cash games only because obviously you can play tournaments so many different ways. I'm gonna go Derek Carr. This is DraftKings because his price is so well. McCaffrey, Cook, Jarvis Landry, Jalen Samuels, and Allen Robinson. Sexy six, DraftKings cash game.
Boom. Love it. I wrote them all down. I'm going to build some lineups with all of them. Folks, that is the Win Daily Show. Thanks for hanging out on your Sunday morning. We got an hour and a half. Hope you feel good after your extra hour of sleep. Thank you, Nick. Enjoyed being on the show with you for the first time. Hope the Packers and Chargers shoot out. We will catch you next week. And come over to WinDailySports.com. Read our articles. We've got the cheat sheets up. Hop in Slack. We've got people answering your questions. And holla at your boy. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Good luck, man. Take care.
All right. See ya.